some of the brightest minds in Western philosophy were also, when it came to women, among the most prejudiced thinkers in history. From Aristotle to Nietzsche, from Rousseau to Schopenhauer, the very men who filled libraries with treatises on reason and wisdom held views on women that are almost impossible to defend today. In this video, we're looking at what these men actually wrote. Aristotle, the deformed male. Theory. In Generation of Animals, Aristotle literally described women as a deformed or mutilated male. In his theory of reproduction, the true form comes from the man, while the woman merely supplies passive matter. He claimed women had fewer teeth, less vital heat, and a colder nature than men, and treated this as proof that women were naturally inferior. In politics, he argued that women do possess the capacity for reason, but that it exists without authority, meaning their reasoning ability is naturally suited to being ruled, rather than to ruling. This idea shaped centuries of Western thought, providing a scientific justification for excluding women from education, politics, and public life. Even education was gendered. Rousseau, the great apostle of enlightenment, freedom, and equality, designed an entire theory of women's education around serving men. In Emile, the female character Sophie is raised specifically to please the male protagonist Emile, to obey him, and to earn his approval. For Rousseau, a woman's mind wasn't meant to produce independent thought. It was meant to understand and adapt to a man's desires. Schopenhauer. Open contempt, perhaps the most blunt of them all. In his essay On Women, Schopenhauer described women as big children, claiming they lacked a sense of justice, were narrow-minded, and were naturally prone to deception. He presented women's historically subordinate position in society as a natural fact, a text where personal bitterness hardened into a philosophical system. A contested legacy famous for the line, "When you go to a woman, don't forget the whip." Nietzsche described women in Thus Spoke Zarathustra as man's most dangerous plaything. A caveat is worth making here. Nietzsche scholars still debate how much of this was irony and how much reflected his actual views. Even so, taken as a whole, his writing consistently positions women as man's complement and as beneath him. Kant. The limits of the beautiful sex. In Observations on the Feeling of the Beautiful and Sublime, Kant divided humanity into the beautiful sex, women, and the noble sex, men. He argued that women were not naturally suited to deep, abstract philosophical thought, and were instead gifted in the realms of beauty and feeling, systematically placing women outside the domain of intellectual life. None of these philosophers wrote in a vacuum. They were largely reflecting the near-universal gender hierarchy of 18th and 19th century Europe. That doesn't excuse their views, but it does partly answer the question of why so many major thinkers landed in the same place. This wasn't an individual quirk, it was the norm of the era. There were also voices who pushed back against it. John Stuart Mill made a powerful philosophical case for women's rights in The Subjection of Women, 1869. Mary Wollstonecraft directly challenged these views in A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, 1792. Including these names keeps the video from feeling one-sided and makes the whole argument land with more credibility. The history of philosophy shows us that intellect and wisdom don't automatically make someone immune to prejudice. Even the greatest minds couldn't fully escape the blind spots of their own time. So the real question is, which of today's great ideas will future generations look back on with the same disbelief? If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe.